Alright, so today we're doing chapter 6, section 3. It's actually sort of what we did yesterday, but in reverse. So yesterday I would show you a parallelogram, and then I'd ask you about the features of that parallelogram. Today I'm going to show you the features, and I'm going to ask you, is it enough to say it's a parallelogram or not? So our goal today is to show that a quadrilateral is a parallelogram. There are a few ways to do that. They're all written as if-then statements. So instead of making you write if 4 separate times, we're just going to write if, one big if. Yes, and then these are all the things that could lead you to your then. All of it. And the then is a parallelogram. So if any of those things are true, then you can say that your quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Alright, so the things we're going to look for. If both pairs of opposite sides are congruent, then it's a parallelogram. Or if both pairs of opposite angles are congruent, then it's a parallelogram. Or if the angles are supplementary to both consecutive angles, so the angles right next to one of the angles, if all of them are supplementary, then it's a parallelogram. Or finally, if the diagonals bisect each other, then it's a parallelogram. So you don't have to show all 4 of them, just one. So if you can prove that one of those 4 things is true, then we can say that the quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Parallelograms always have 4 sides. So the first thing you need to check is 4 sides. All the problems today will have 4 sides, so that's not going to be a big issue. But any of these 4 things will lead us to the fact that it truly is a parallelogram. Any questions? So for all of these, your first answer is going to be yes or no. So is it a parallelogram? If it's a no, just no is enough information, okay? But if it's a yes, you need to tell me why. And the reason why will be one of those 4 things that you just wrote down. So, number 1, do you think this is a parallelogram? Yes. Why? Yeah, the opposite angles are congruent. When it's a yes, you have to give the reason why. So yes, the reason is the opposite angles are congruent. You have 119 and 119, 61 and 61.
So that's how it's going to be on the test?
Yes. This is how it will look on your homework and your quiz next week. Yeah, you could even shorten it. If you don't want to write angles, you could use like the angle symbol. You could use the congruent symbol. Yeah, you can shorten it if you want. All right, number 2, is this a parallelogram?
Yes. No. 4 sides.
It's a quadrilateral. It has 4 sides.
No.
Is it a parallelogram?
No.
No. And if it's no, you don't have to tell me why, because really all 4 things will be not true. So no is enough information if it's not a parallelogram. All right, number 3, what are your thoughts?
Yes.
This one is yes. Why?
The opposite sides are the same.
We're not given any information about the sides. The sides would be like over here. What are those things that go across? They're diagonals. So yes, because the diagonals... What's important about the diagonals? They bisect each other. Good. And number 4, what do you guys think?
I'm gonna also say yes.
It is a yes. What's the reason?
Because the sides are congruent.
Good. The opposite sides, I'll shorten it for you, are congruent. All right. First of all, any questions?
No.
Okay. I do want to point something out before we move on to the other examples. The biggest mistake I see here is that you don't write out your entire thought. So for number 1, a lot of people would write, yes, congruent. That's not enough information. Or people would write like, yes, angles. Okay, I need complete thoughts. Yes, what about the angles is special? So yes, the opposite angles are congruent. Okay? Or like on number 3, someone might say, yes, diagonals. Okay, that's not enough information. You're just like sputtering out random words. Okay? Yes, what about the diagonals? You need to tell me specifically why the diagonals are important. Do you guys have any questions? So, number 5, yes, no. If yes, why?
I want to say
No, because the other side right there.
Okay. So one of the arguments is no because we don't know what this angle is. Do we know how to find it?
Yeah.
So you could find it, or there's actually another way that requires a little less math.
the stuff we learned today.
It's, I believe, the 3rd bullet point on your notes. Yeah, if one of the angles is supplementary to the 2 angles next to it, then it's a parallelogram. So, what is 122 plus 58? 180. What is 122 plus 58? So this is supplementary to both of the angles next to it. So that makes this a parallelogram. So yes, you could just say consecutive angles congruent, or you can write the words out. Depends how fancy you want to be. All right, the other method would be you could take 360, subtract all the angles you know, that'll give you the angle that you don't know. When you do that, you actually get 122, and then the opposite angles are congruent. So really, either one of those would be fine. Sometimes more than one reason works. All right, let's look at number 6. Any thoughts?
No.
It's a no. Now, some people want to say yes because the diagonals look like they have some congruent things happening, right? The problem is they need to bisect each other. So this segment right here would need to match up with this one over here, not the one right next to it, okay? They have to cut each other into 2 congruent segments. So it doesn't quite work out on this one. And we don't have enough information about opposite sides. So 6 is a no. What do you guys think about 7?
I'm gonna say yes.
7 is a yes. What is your reason for number 7? I heard someone say congruent. I heard someone say bisect. Give me complete thoughts. Diagonals. Bisect each other. Good. And number 8.
No.
Why is this one a no?
I don't like rule.
Yeah, none of them are the same. Even just one little degree off is enough to say no. They have to be exactly the same as the angle opposite the angle you're looking at. All right, those are our examples for today. Do you guys have any questions?
Okay.